Okay, so welcome back to Mr. B's math class. Today we're going to look at 10.4, modeling and solving two-step equations. So our outcome for today is I can solve two-step linear equations and show how I worked out the answer. Now, this lesson really isn't much different than our other lessons, just like all the other ones in Unit 10. It kind of builds off one another. So when we look at today, it's just like 10.1, 10.2, just adding on one more step. So it really shouldn't take us too long to go through this. So let's take a look what we got here. Okay, so let's take a look at our first example. So from our first example, we have 4 bracket s plus 2 equals 20. Well, this is a little different than we've had before because before it's just been straight numbers and no brackets. So the first thing we need to do, like it says here, we need to get rid of these brackets here. So we're going to go through two methods. Number one, we're going to start with here. So method number one says start by dividing the number outside the bracket by both sides. So the number outside the bracket is this 4 right there. It says to divide it by both sides. So all we're going to do is divide it by 4, the entire thing by 4 there, and divide the other side by 4. When we do that, what happens is we have the 4 on the top dividing right there, dividing by the 4 on the bottom, which cancels it out. By canceling out, all we're left with now is s plus 2 equals, and we do the work on the other side, 20 there divided by 4 we know gives us 5. So there we go. Our new question is now s plus 2 equals 5. S plus 2 equals 5. So step 2 says isolate the variable through opposite operation and doing it to both sides. So the variable s, it's still got an added 2 to it. So we do the opposite of that, which opposite of addition is subtraction. So we subtract the 2 away. And what we do to one side, we always do to the other side. So we subtract the 2 there. So we are left with s all on its own because these 2's cancel out. And s equals 5 minus 2 equals 3, which is our answer. So let's take a look at what our next method will be. So if we look here now at method 2 says the first step is multiply the number outside the bracket into the bracket. So that means this 4, we're going to multiply it and get it inside to get rid of it on the outside. So if we were to do that, we would say, okay, we need to multiply it into here and into there. So if I do the work here, 4 times s we know will just be 4s, so it attaches together, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we've now taken that 4, multiplied inside, and got a new part of our equation as 4s plus 8 equals 20. So now we have essentially 10.2 all over again. So step 2 says we need to isolate the variable through opposite operation, which is adding and subtracting first. So if I rewrite our new question down, it's 4s plus 8 equals 20. So we know we need to deal with this 8 first because we have to get rid of that before we can touch the variable. Well, that 8 is being added, so all we need to do is subtract the 8. Subtract 8, and our new question should be 4s. We look at these 8s and they cancel out because 8 minus 8 is 0. 4s equals 20 minus 8 is 12. So now we have 4s equals 12 as our new question. So I write this below here, 4s equals 12. Well, step 3 says isolate the variable through opposite operation like we know, but this time multiplication division because it's being attached. So if we look at it, 4s is 4 multiplied by s, so the opposite of that would be dividing. So we'll divide by 4 here. What we do to one side, we always need to do to the other side, so we'll divide by 4 here. Well, 4 divided by 4, that cancels out just to give us s on its own. And 12 divided by 4 gives us 3, which, like the other question, f equals 3. There's two methods. I want you to pick the method that you prefer that'll work best for you. Now we're going to look at a couple more examples that you can try yourself. Okay, so here's our second example. 2, 3 plus p equals 8. I'm going to let you guys pause if you want to here and try to solve it yourself, and then just hit play when you're done. So when we look at this question here, I'm probably going to choose method number 1 to try this one. So method number 1 we know is that dividing off the bat. So we got this outside number 2 here. I'm just going to simply divide by 2 on this side. And we know what happens to one side, we need to do to the other side. So I'm going to divide by 2 here as well. We know that 2 divided by 2 cancels out. So that will give us just now 3 plus p. And we know that 8 divided by 2 there should give us 4. So there's our new question. We're almost done. Step 2, we needed to take care of that variable and get it on its own. Well, right now it's adding a 3, so that 3 is being added. We need to get rid of that 3. Because there's no sign, we know it's positive, so we're going to subtract a 3 from there, and we're going to subtract a 3 from here. 3 minus 3 we know cancels out, and leaves us with p, and 4 minus 3 is 1. Just in case we weren't sure if that worked or not, we can try this answer into our brackets. So 2, 3 plus p, which we know is 1, equals 8. If we do the work, 3 plus 1 is 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 we know is 8. 8 equals 8. We got the right answer. So let's try the last example here of the lesson. The final example, we have a negative this time, and it says negative 21 equals 3k plus 3. Well, once again, let's continue the trend of trying method number 1. So the first thing we're going to look at here is we need to get rid of this 3. That's right there. Now, don't be fooled just because it's backwards, right? It doesn't matter which side of the equal sign the numbers are on. They decided to put the unknown on the right and what we know on the left, and that's okay. We still are going to tackle this using division. So we look here, because the brackets are right there, and that 3 is multiplying the brackets, we'll divide it by 3. And what we do to one side, we do to the other side, so we'll divide that side by 3. We know that 3 divided by 3 is going to cancel out, and that should give us just k plus 3 left over. And now we're looking here, negative 21 divided by positive 3. We know a negative and a positive is going to give us a negative because of the different signs. 21 divided by 3 is going to give us a 7. So now we have negative 7 equals k plus 3. Well, step 2 said we had to isolate that variable using addition or subtraction. So 3 is being added here, so we're going to subtract 3. And what we do to one side, we always do to the other side, so we'll subtract 3 here as well. 3 minus 3 cancels out and leaves us with k on its own. Good. And negative 7 and negative 3. So negative 7 minus 3. Well, they're both negatives. So negative 7 gets 3 more negatives, so that becomes negative 10. And our answer is negative 10 equals k. And again, if we wanted to check that answer out right here, we have negative 21 equals 3. Our k we know is negative 10 plus 3. If we do the work now, negative 10 plus 3, we know that's going to be negative 7. And 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Our answer works out, and that is it. So that's all you have to do for this, guys. So good luck. You guys can start the assignment.